Okay, YouTube, I've got a couple Wetterlings, couple Gransfors here. I guess the Wetterlings is on the other side of the room. The big 32. But what I wanted to show here today is this is the Gransfors Bruks Scandinavian forest axe. And by the way, bear with me, I don't usually use a tripod. Today I've got a tripod, but it's covering up the microphone, so there may be audio issues here. What's important is I just want to show these two. This one will be sold tomorrow. I've owned it for a couple of years. It is a great quality axe. This is the 25-inch Gransfors Bruks Scandinavian forest axe. But I wanted to show how thin the bit is. It's basically, this is, in my opinion, strictly a limbing felling axe. Some guys are able to get it to split well in softwoods. I don't know how anybody could get it to split well in hardwoods, but maybe some guys, tougher guys than me, can. This is what I'm replacing it with. This is the 26-inch Wetterlings Scandinavian forest axe. Size-wise, I know each individual axe varies, but I think we're within about a half an inch. As far as handles go, I thinned this handle. It's been sanded down a few times over the 2.5 years or so that I've owned it. This one I picked up a couple of months ago, actually from a Bushcraft USA member, and I guess the money was going to help out some disabled veterans too, so it was cool. Sold some musky gear to pick this one up, and I kind of feel good about it, knowing that it's helping some veterans out. This one, it's not made so well. It's got a big gap right here. I stuffed something in there, and I soaked the head in linseed oil turpentine for about, I think this one got about 10 days. Here's the important part that I wanted to document while I have this Gransfors on hand. This will likely be sold tomorrow. I've got a guy that wants to buy it off of Craigslist. So the entire point of this video, I'm not an expert, so I can give you my reasons, but they may not be relevant for all viewers out there. I've got a bad back and shoulder from an old car crash injury 14 years ago. An elderly woman fell asleep behind the wheel of her Buick and rear-ended me. So even 14 years later, I'm still suffering from some muscle spasms and muscle tightness and weakness in the upper back and shoulders. And I found that sometimes very fast movements can aggravate that more, and again, they can re-aggravate the spasms. And also, as I said, there's a little bit of limited strength with my upper body because of this injury. I don't want to call it a disability, but because I don't receive any benefits or any of that, but some would call it that. Anyways, this one, I don't have a scale, but I'm guessing this Wetterlings, even though it's probably only about 3 or 4 ounces different, it works out better for me. The weight seems to do, the axe does a little more work, and whereas with this one it's so lightweight, it requires a greater speed and more actual physical effort. So in some guys' hands, I mean, guys love this. This could be a great axe. But from what I found, the lighter weight the axe, the greater strength and then the more strength that I have to put into it, the less accurate I am. I mean, still a great, very accurate axe. Just not quite for me, I guess, just because I normally carry a buck saw with me. Whether or like either a folding saw if I'm just hiking, or a buck saw if I'm in the canoe or whatever. And although I don't want a dedicated splitting axe, I definitely want an axe that splits very well. And I see these Wetterlings as kind of designed more as a multi-purpose, where even in the included manual that comes with this axe, the Gransfors Bruks, and on their website, they only describe this axe as basically just a felling limbing axe. And as far as campfire, which is pretty much why I own these things, splitting is nice, especially if you're at a more popular camping area, like on the Wisconsin River, places. A lot of times, the smaller pieces of wood. Well, the guys that brought their small axes, they use up all the small pieces of wood, and it's nice to have something a little larger to go after those larger pieces of wood in the more populated areas if you're not way out there. And anyways, this one just didn't quite do it for me. I mean, I don't even really have all the words to describe it, and my situation may not be relevant to other viewers out there. But I mean, there is a heck of a difference here, and I know that lighting isn't perfect. And by the way, both handles have been sanded down a lot. This Wetterlings handle has been sanded down so much by me, it no longer says Wetterlings on it. And it's a little different color on this side, heartwood or whatever they call that. But you can barely see the impression from where that is. But I thinned this one down. I pulled this hump down just a little bit, and swelled it in oil and everything. This one's, I'm really feeling it. I really like this axe. It's a subtle difference. Maybe my best guess is 3 or 4 ounces of steel more. And there's something else I wanted to point out too, because even when you're looking at this angle like this, your eyes are just drawn to this edge. But something that's I haven't really heard pointed out is that this axe gets a little thicker right here in the middle than it is on the edges, which is kind of, I believe, helps it split a little bit better and potentially get stuck in the wood a little bit less. The splitting axes generally get a little bit thicker in this middle portion right in here versus the outside edges, and it's subtle, but it is definitely there in this axe. And in the Gransfors, as far as I can tell, it is not. It is just perfectly flat all the way through. And I should have taken measurements. I should have that written down, but unfortunately I don't have numbers for you guys. But I took a micrometer and I mic'd this stuff, and I think it was only like a 2 mm difference right in this area between these two axes, up like a centimeter or whatever. But once we got up in here, there's a huge difference. Larger than this photo here or this video is probably going to even have you believe, because your eyes are just drawn to this outline right here, and it gets thicker in this middle here, just a small amount. And it's, as far as small, around the home here, I've split some applewood I use for barbecuing. Applewood is very hard, dense wood, and also because it's a fruit tree that's farmed, it's got a ton of knots in it because there are no competing trees nearby. So it's just the way plants grow. They won't stretch as much. They'll have a ton more knots if they're a farmed tree. And this thing, I mean, night and day difference to splitting some applewood. And I took it out on a hike, and there was a down tree. I think I did section a piece that was 6 or 8 inches with this and frozen. And well, again, with my limited strength, this axe is still a little on the small side for that. I've got a larger, heavier axe that thing does all the work for me. And even with this size here, I mean, on YouTube, these axes seem like they're big. This is still a very small axe. I think this one's about 25.5 or 25 3/4. This is still a small axe. We do that Morris Kohansky thing. I've got it in my armpit right here, okay, folks? So that's the Morris. I'm trying to do it in a video. That's, I don't know. I need a 28 plus. Actually, my 32-inch Wetterlings is just about an inch larger than what Morris Kohansky says should be perfect for me. And I love that axe, but I'm not carrying. That's got a 3.1 pound head. I'm not carrying that one hiking, but awesome in the canoe. Well, this is here. I'll say the same thing about this. The whole world is infatuated with this axe, and this is the Gransfors Small Forest axe. And it's so perfectly made. I just love it. I've owned it for maybe 3 years now. I got a guy the guy that's buying this. He wants this too, because these are nearly in Christmas time right now. They're gone. You can't get them in the country right now. Selling for way over retail. 200-ish on eBay when retail's 120. But I wanted to say the same thing with this. Even in the Gransfors axe book, this is basically just for limbing and felling. And I've kind of had the same thing. For me, other guys can split with it great. There's probably 100 videos on YouTube of guys splitting with it. It'll do alright in the soft woods. I can make it work. Around where I live here, southern Wisconsin, we're about like half softwoods, and we got a lot of birch. There's a lot of pines and stuff, but we got a lot of hardwoods here too, like oaks and maples and stuff. And ooh, these struggle. I mean, I'd have to just be doing like little sticks of the hardwood. It doesn't. And again, that's for me. I do not have quite the upper body strength as some guys maybe, or gals for that matter. Not a tough guy. I'm just crippled trying to find out what works for me. One last shot. All the dimensions are pretty much the same. But this one, the Wetterlings, has got a little less curve to it, I think, maybe. Pretty close. Both seem to be about the same quality steel. Oh, and I did finish this one up a bunch. Had it all polished up, but I think it's got some goo on it right now. Either a little bit of linseed oil on there, and Obenhoff's. I protect my steel and my leather with Obenhoff's. Okay, I guess questions, comments, can leave that stuff below. Again, I apologize about the audio. Hopefully